The book of 1 Samuel is an exciting adventure. It tells the story of Israel's transition from judges to kings, a pivotal moment in their history. We meet Samuel, the last judge, and witness his role in anointing Israel's first king, Saul. Samuel's journey is filled with divine encounters and prophetic messages. Saul is tall and handsome, a natural leader. His physical appearance and initial humility make him an ideal candidate for kingship. He starts his reign with promise, showing potential to be a great leader, but things don't stay rosy for long. Saul's disobedience and insecurities lead to his downfall. 1 Samuel sets the stage for the entire Old Testament, laying the groundwork for the stories and lessons that follow. It introduces us to the concept of kingship and God's chosen people, highlighting the complexities of leadership and divine guidance. It shows us the dangers of rejecting God's leadership and choosing our own way, emphasizing the consequences of disobedience, and it sets the stage for the most famous king of Israel, King David. David's story begins here, filled with promise and divine favor. Chapter 13 of 1 Samuel finds Saul and the Israelites facing a Philistine threat. The tension is palpable as both armies prepare for a confrontation that could determine the fate of Israel. The Philistines have gathered a massive army equipped with advanced weaponry. Their chariots and iron swords give them a significant advantage. Saul and his men are outnumbered and outgunned. The Israelite soldiers are filled with dread as they see the overwhelming force arrayed against them. Fear grips the Israelite camp. The soldiers are anxious and their morale is low. Samuel had instructed Saul to wait for him at Gilgal. He was to make sacrifices to God before going into battle, but Samuel is delayed. The days stretch on and the pressure mounts. As the days turn into a week, Saul becomes impatient and afraid. He sees his men beginning to scatter and his fear grows. He takes matters into his own hands. Desperation drives him to make a fateful decision. Saul decides to offer the sacrifices himself, even though he is not a priest. This act is a direct violation of Samuel's instructions. This act of disobedience has dire consequences. It marks a turning point in Saul's reign. As Saul finishes offering the sacrifice, Samuel arrives. The timing is almost cruel in its precision. He is heartbroken by Saul's lack of faith. Samuel's sorrow is profound, knowing that Saul's actions have set a tragic course for the future. Saul's decision to disobey God stems from his impatience and fear. He doubts God's promise to deliver Israel. He thinks he knows better than God. This is a dangerous path for anyone, especially a king. Saul's actions have immediate and long-term consequences. Samuel announces that Saul's kingdom will not last. God has chosen another to be king, a man after God's own heart. From this point forward, Saul's reign is marked by instability and decline. This chapter highlights the importance of obedience to God. It reminds us that God's timing is perfect, even when we don't understand it, and it shows us the dangers of letting fear and impatience dictate our actions. Though Saul fails, his story points us to the ultimate King, Jesus Christ. Unlike Saul, Jesus perfectly obeyed God the Father. He waited patiently for God's timing, and he offered the ultimate sacrifice, not of animals but of himself on the cross. Jesus is the King who never disobeys, never fears, and never fails. He's the fulfillment of the promise made to David, a descendant of David who reigns forever. In Saul's failure, we see our need for a perfect king, a king like Jesus. Thousands of years later, the story of Saul's disobedience still speaks to us. It serves as a timeless reminder of the importance of following God's commands. It challenges us to examine our own lives and our own decisions. Are we living in a way that honors God? Are we quick to obey God, or do we try to take matters into our own hands? Do we seek His guidance in every aspect of our lives? Do we trust God's timing, or do we get impatient and fearful? Patience is a virtue that is often tested in our fast-paced world. 1 Samuel 13 reminds us that God desires obedience more than sacrifice. He values our willingness to follow His will above all else. He wants us to trust Him completely, even when we don't understand. Trusting God means believing in His plan, even when it doesn't align with our own. He wants us to wait patiently for His timing, knowing that He is always faithful to His promises. Patience and faith go hand in hand. As we learn from Saul's mistakes and look to Jesus, the perfect King, we can walk in obedience, faith, and trust in God's plan for our lives. Let us strive to be faithful followers, always seeking to do His will. Are you ready for the next chapter? Just click here to go straight to it.